All right, well, welcome to the replay, everybody, and hello, tea family. How are you today? We got started a minute late, which is not normally like us. We like to start on time around here, but let us know that you're here by saying hello in the chat. Let us know what you're drinking. I know that one of our people is drinking Onyx chai tonight because I was texting with this member of our tea family earlier. But today we are going to be spilling the tea, literally, hopefully not, but on one of the most romantic blends in history, otherwise known as the Earl's blend. But this isn't going to be a grandma tea party. We're going to be talking about shipwrecks and the Princess Pears. One of the reasons why smoked salmon might be the choice that you need to make for a Valentine's tea if you're going to have Earl's blend and some other things like that. So say hello to us. Let us know you're here. As you can see, I've got a tea tiered tray here, and I'm going to lift it up, and you can see I've got it stacked. This one was given to us by a really sweet lady, and so we are super excited because I have done this one up, and I like it because it's not as tall, so I don't have to always go like this when I'm doing this. So just super excited. As always, we do have my handy dandy assistant. He's going to help me as I constantly look down for comments and let us know what's going on. So we're going to actually start, and I have to change a couple things out. I'm going to take this really pretty tray away for a second. All right. Well, hello, Domini. Say hello to the little man for us. Okay. So we are going to start with, actually, it's great that Domini's here because this is actually one of her favorite blends. And we are going to be starting with a nice, beautiful Earl's blend. Now, this Earl's blend, it is a blend of black teas, and ours has a little bit of bergamot oil in it, and that is pretty traditional. It is a black tea, so we are going to be boiling it, but this is very simple. It is very traditional. Now, a lot of people don't like how perfumey it gets. There we go, trying to make room. But we did boil up our water in advance, and if my handy dandy assistant can hand me 3 minutes on the clock for our first brew, that would be just lovely. And we'll put this down now. All right, so let me look at the comments. We see Stephanie's on her second brew of the Onyx chai. I knew she was drinking that Onyx chai tonight. And let's see, Diane is here. Kim is drinking Starlight Pear. Diane has fresh pineapple juice. That is not a problem. I was actually drinking water earlier, which is why I have to brew the first brew. And Amy is here, and she's having Earl's blend with a Khalifa coconut cream and almond milk, and then 2 teaspoons of Turinado sugar. That sounds really good. Okay, there's your recipe of the day. We're good. Amy took care of us. No, thanks for joining us. I'm super excited. Other than the fact that it says coconut cream in there, I mean, I might put something else in there as opposed to the coconut cream, only because I'm allergic to coconut. So, but that sounds really lovely. Okay. So one of the things is that you may not realize that the Earl's blend, or Earl Grey, was originally a mistake. Legend says that a shipment of tea and bergamot oil collided during a storm at sea. The oil leaked into the tea, but by the time it reached the Earl, he absolutely loved it so much, he asked to recreate the disaster. And it is the ultimate happy accident kind of love story. Now, this is one of those teas that people are very nostalgic about because it has been very popular. And so I know that we had one little boy at a farmer's market one time, and he's like, it reminds me of grandma's house, because apparently she was a huge drinker of Earl's blend or Earl Grey tea. So Dominique's drinking water tonight. She needs to hydrate. Yeah, that's why I was drinking water earlier today too. Needed to hydrate with the winter and everything. He likes the delicious disaster. See, and that's what it is. It's a delicious disaster. I love it. You know, people don't even always understand that bergamot is a type of a fancy orange. It is in Turkish kind of a bay armut, which means the prince's pear. So that's where we kind of get that prince's pear note in there. And it is a hybrid of kind of a lemon and a bitter orange that only grows properly, truly, bergamot only grows properly in one region of Italy, Calabria. And so those of you that are going to celebrate your Italian heritage, there you are. This should be your tea. Now, this is one of those teas that I really don't drink very often as a black tea, but I do use frequently if I'm making a mocktail. Not always green sunrise for my mocktails, but that's because this has such incredible flavor notes with the bergamot, and it really mixes and matches well with so many mocktail recipes. There's just so many directions you can go with it that don't limit yourself. Okay, this is not just for grandmas. This is for everybody. Yes. Time. Okay, so my handy dandy assistant tells me it is time, and I know I had someplace. Here we go. I know I had a jar so I could put this aside. So this is my first brew. There you go. All right. And as you can see, you get a nice, beautiful, typical black tea. That's just so nice. It's just such a nice aroma. It's not, if it's well done, it's not perfumey in as much as you just get a wonderful aroma. Another interesting fact is that some historians actually discuss and believe that the Earl used a citrus oil to mask the flavor of the lime scale in the water at his estate. Remember, we talked about a lot of the differences in water is how we came up with like an English breakfast tea versus a Irish breakfast tea versus a Scottish breakfast tea. And shout out to Highland Dawn for winning the showdown completely. That one was just unbelievable. Yeah, it was, and I appreciate everybody who got out more votes on that second day, so we're able to break the tie. That is just craziness of how like, it was back and forth, and every time I thought it was going to go one way, it went another way. It was a very exciting nail biter finish. So, but the reason why they have the different blends is because so much and the water is different, and we've talked about that. But remember, there was a lime scale, and so there are historians that say that one of the reasons why this became such a happy accident was that the lime scale, that the citrus oil or the bergamot oil actually masked the taste of the lime scale at his estate. So basically it was kind of his version of a water filter, so to speak. It took out that bitter taste, and he was able to enjoy it. Okay. Handy dandy assistant was timing with his phone, and I appreciate that so much. So, okay, so good. All right, now, so glad Highland Dawn isn't locked in the specialty bot. So, Kim, really, everybody who enjoys Highland Dawn, I have to say that Kim has been its biggest proponent since day one. She is the one who launched the campaign to make it a permanent tea blend as opposed to a special vault only available for 1 or 2 months out of the year. And she really got out the vote and convinced us that we need to make it year round. And not only did that happen, but it took our tea showdown. So like I said, shout out to Highland Dawn. It is a very nice tea. It's a very nostalgic tea for us here because it's kind of what a traditional New England tea tastes like for us. There's your thank you for Amy Kim. This is definitely hers. Okay. No, we would try and respond. Again, I keep saying Ruby Chai was originally supposed to be a seasonal blend. It's supposed to be a fall blend. That didn't happen. We do listen when you all say, but we do sometimes have to be convinced. Kim saying everybody's welcome. So let's go ahead and since Valentine's Day is coming up fairly quickly too, we wanted to talk about a Valentine tea. So I am going to lift this back up. And as you can see, I have lots of delicious things here. There's a reason why we don't typically eat supper until after the live. This is the reason. This is the reason right here. It's also a reason why you didn't see me add anything to my Earl's blend. Okay, let me fix this right here. So as you know, with a tier tray, there's a different way you eat it. You have your savory foods right here. You eat that the first course. You have your scone or your pastries and your clotted cream or whipped cream and jams and jellies and preserves. Second course, and then your third course is usually a bite-sized dessert. So we're going to kind of start with that today and talk about what is the perfect match with Earl's blend. And let me tell you, I was really excited to be doing Earl's blend today because it is great with a lot of different foods. Y'all listen except for when it's the leap year tea. Well, Betsy, that's true only because we had created that tea that has some special ingredients in it that are a little more expensive. So we wanted to make something special. It's only every 4 years. But you are correct. That's the only one we haven't listened about. Okay. So let's talk about the perfect match. So we'll kind of start and let's go a little bit backwards. You know, normally we start with the savory. Let's go ahead and start with the sweet. In this, again, the one thing that I'm going to say first off is anything with dark chocolate. So what I have here, I don't know if you can see the little gold sparklies on there, but I have dark chocolate that we have done up ourselves. We used a super high dark cacao. We used a little bit of organic sugar and then just a standard little pretzel. And then we did a little of our food glitter on top. So that's where you get that little bit of gold glitter on there. But this is a great treat. You're going to have kind of the saltiness from the pretzel and you're going to have the sweetness and still the bite of the dark chocolate. Now the tannins in Earl's blend are going to cut right through the bitterness of the dark chocolate. And the bergamot is going to add kind of some floral notes, really will make the cacao in the chocolate pop. So I am not going to take a bite of this yet because I don't want to save my sugar for that. I have strawberries here. The other thing is, again, think about chocolate covered strawberries. Now, then again, these are dark chocolate, the same chocolate batch that we did. The sweetness of the strawberry, the bite of the dark chocolate, and then when you match that with like an Earl's blend or a black tea, the tannins are really going to balance very, very well. They are going to bring you just kind of that perfect contrast to bring out the notes. And let's be honest, bergamot is in the orange family. Orange and strawberries go together really extremely well. So those flavors are very going to be complementary. We really should do an afternoon tea party with this tea family. I agree, Amy. It's just a matter of putting on the calendar. I will say that we do have coming up, I just have to release the date. We are going to be doing a tea blending class in Manhattan. And that I will have some foods there, obviously for snacks, but also to really kind of taste the tea before and after and do a little of that. So Dominique approves the dark chocolate. See, I agree 100%. Now, these are all wonderful things. Here we also have a strawberry shortcake little mini cupcake, and it's pretty much just a yellow cupcake, but you've got the kind of a whipped cream, whipped topping, not a Cool Whip, but I want you to think a whipped frosting. That's the word I was trying to come up with. And then just a swirl of a homemade strawberry syrup in there you could do, and then just kind of let that set. You know, these are all things that are going to bring out kind of the orange flavor that really contrast and complement the tea. Now, on this, I'm going to go with and I'm going to lift this up so you can see. I went with a traditional kind of vanilla or a vanilla bean scone. That is really going to pair extremely well. Anything that's kind of a shortbread is going to go extremely well with the Earl's blend. And of course, clotted cream, whipped cream. And again, you could go with an orange marmalade in there, or you could do what I've done here, and I've opted for a strawberry preserves. I like that because again, orange strawberry is a very traditional, common flavor that go really, really well together. But that is great for that kind of second layer. Strawberry ice cream. Yes, you could do strawberry ice cream because then you're going to have the creaminess of the ice cream, and you would have the strawberries to balance with the darker tea to bring out those flavors, and then you would have the bergamot for that strawberry and orange blend. So now let's talk savory, more contrasting flavors, because we all know I like to complement, but I also like to contrast. And you're not going to see this one on here. And that is like a smoked salmon with cream cheese. So I want you to match a crostini cracker with the cream cheese and a smoked salmon on top. You could even do little bagel bites that had salmon and cream cheese on it. This is going to be kind of a rule breaker pairing. The smokiness of the fish is going to act as a base against the bright, zesty citrus in the tea. If you added a squeeze of lemon to your seafood, that's even going to complement or contrast with the citrus notes, again, with the orange citrus notes. Now, if you did that, if you had that smokiness, then I would want to say consider some vanilla dusted roasted almonds. So think roasted almonds with a vanilla sugar. The roasted warmth and the soft vanilla is going to do similar, and it's going to be similar in nature to what I just talked about with like the vanilla bean scones. And they're going to boost that bergamot floral notes in the Earl's blend tea. Okay, just checking our questions. Another one that you may not think of, something else that I are really delicious that go with this tea, is a lemon ricotta pancake. So I'm thinking mini size. We're talking the 2-bite size, but the citrus again is going to mirror that bergamot. The ricotta is going to soften the edges and add some creaminess into it, which is going to be the perfect note with your Earl's blend tea. Let me take a sip of my tea really quickly. Amy's like, I'm not even hungry, but you're making me hungry. I'm sorry, that happens. That's one of the reasons why we don't eat ahead of time, especially if I'm going to have all these foods. And then there's a lot here, so this will last us a few days. Or my handy dandy assistant will be eating it all. That's pretty much what happens. I have a little bit of it. Okay, so let's go back to some kind of perfect contrast, maybe an unexpected magical thing. And this is great for those of you that prefer sweet potatoes. Now, if you have some sweet potato fries, I might do like a honey drizzle with it, especially if I was going to put a little bit of honey in the Earl's blend tea. This is one I'm going to say, trust me on again, if you would try it. This is one of the ones where you're going to really experience kind of the earthy sweetness. And it's going to become, of the sweet potato and the honey, is really going to be almost, for lack of a better word, luxurious next to the bergamot of the tea and the tannins, bringing kind of that great finish, almost like a red wine, so to speak. I would do a pinch of salt on the sweet potato fries to balance against the honey and the sweetness, just to bring it out. Another thing would be like a blackberry cherry bite over kind of, so like a blackberry goat cheese, a blackberry cherry chocolate bite. But I like the idea of the goat cheese kind of with the dark berries and the bergamot tea. This is something that you would see in kind of some historical romances, but that's why you see them there, because it really worked really, 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 really well. Words not working today. What do you think about adding lemon honey to Earl's blend? I bought some at the home show. Absolutely. That is going to have kind of your orange citrus, your lemon citrus. So adding a lemon infused honey to a Earl's Blend tea, going to be spot on. You're really going to kind of play that lemon citrus versus the orange citrus. And I'm really interested to hear what that tastes like, because it would be highly recommended. Yes, definitely no milk with that because we're adding lemon. So, okay. Let's see. I wanted to talk about, other things. So what do I have for savories today for me? I am also going to talk about some things that you're not going to necessarily think of. And that is, this is a whole wheat bruschetta. Bruschetta. I have to think about it now. Anyway, just very Italian. The balsamic vinegar, again, is going to add depth of notes and really balance well with the Earl's Blend tea. You're also going to have kind of the sweetness of the tomato, which is going to bring a little acid to it and balance with the tea. That is highly recommended. Now, I happen to like it with the whole wheat because it adds kind of a depth of flavor that traditional white breads or Italian breads don't add. Also, like your traditional turkey, I did a turkey and pesto, but you could do a turkey and anything that's going to have some of those similar flavors. I like the pesto because I like the little bit of the nuttiness from the pine nuts playing against the black tea blends. It works really, really well and picks up some depth of flavor that you wouldn't normally have. And then I'm going to go with something pretty simple. We're kind of talking about Valentine's Day, a lot of red in here, a lot of heart-shaped things. I don't know if you can tell, but my little sandwiches are heart shapes. And then I'll take the rest of that piece of bread and turn it into breadcrumbs. Probably do like a cream of tomato soup or a creamy tomato soup or something with some breadcrumbs on top, or croutons. But something else that is really good with Earl's Blend tea that people don't think about is just a little mini heart pizza. And I have turkey pepperoni on here, but it's just a traditional. Again, the turkey pepperoni with the tea. Again, you're getting the depth of flavor. You're kind of getting some of the smokiness of it. They really complement and contrast each other well. And, it's a fun way if you're having a tea party with somebody that's younger or doesn't like a lot of sandwiches or things like that. Pizza, many people enjoy pizzas. So this is a great way to have it. And it's an unusual savory to have at a tea party. Most people don't think of pizza or a pizza bite type of thing. But when you're talking about Earl's Blend, it's definitely going to work well. Yep. So that's what we have on our tray today. Very, very much a Valentine tea party sort of thing. Now, I do want to say, I did say earlier that I love Earl's Blend for mocktails. And so I'm going to talk about a love potion mocktail. I'm not going to make it today. Obviously, I don't have a ton of space. I am sort of battling for space here. And so I don't want to overload myself, but I am going to go over the recipe. And so first, brew your Earl's Blend a little bit stronger. So what I do is occasionally I'll brew it a little longer, but really what I would say is brew a little bit more tea, or the same amount of tea and a little less water. You're going to let that cool. And then if you are allowed to drink or eat grapefruit, because I know it's prohibited from a lot of people for medical and medicine reasons, but if you can have grapefruit juice, I would take about 6 ounces of Earl's Blend. I would take about 1 ounce of grapefruit juice. I would add a splash of sparkling water, maybe up to 1 ounce in that one. You could go with tonic water, but I really would recommend a straight seltzer water on that. And it's basically going to be a bergamot tea sour. It looks stunning in a fluted glass, like a champagne flute. And again, it is just call it your love potion. I would take, it's going to sound funny, but I would take one of these dark chocolate covered strawberries. I would cut the strawberry in half and I would sit it right at the top of that flute. Or if your strawberries are smaller, you could put it right in the bottom, hull it. I would still go ahead and have the chocolate in it. You're going to have a little bit of a chocolate note with your love potion. You're going to have some red for your strawberry. This is just a really amazing. Now, if you cannot have grapefruit juice, then you could substitute in an apple cider, or you could substitute in an orange soda. Either way, they are not what I would necessarily go for. I might move it to the other end of the spectrum and go a little more tropical with it and add in pineapple juice as opposed to grapefruit juice. You could do mango juice. I just know, I mean, in this person, I have to say that grapefruit really matches well, but I know everybody can't drink grapefruit juice or eat grapefruits. I know that my mom had to give up grapefruit because of medical reasons and a medication that she was taking. So I don't want to tell anybody to obviously drink it if it's not going to be good for them. So I want to give you a couple of substitutes, but this is spot on. I know Stephanie just said she loves grapefruit, and this is a perfect one. And then that's the other thing is, you could stick your strawberry on there, but you could also stick, a little piece of grapefruit right on there, a little wedge. Decorate your little flute up however you wish. It's just a little fun mocktail. It's not something that you see all the time. It's very much going to be similar to like a bergamot sour without having any alcohol in it. So, okay, since we're talking about a Valentine tea party, I wanted to talk about some fun games you could have at a Valentine tea party. And one of them is kind of called the Tiny Love Letters game. You leave little folded notes at each place setting with fun prompts like reveal the best tea you've ever had, or tell us a small thing that made your week better, or share a cozy habit that you secretly adore. And that's just a really fun thing. It's easy. You could use it as a kind of let's get to know each other. You could have everybody write down their answers and then someone draw and try and guess who it is, who it's describing. Just a fun little game. You could do a lot of different things with. There's nothing earth-shattering here. We're not revealing deep, dark secrets, but it's just a fun way to get to know each other or to try and guess. And it's a fun game for a Valentine tea party if you're having a larger tea party. If you have 4 or 5 or 6 people or even more, it's just a fun little game. Okay, just checking our comments. Let's see. Another one would be guess the aroma. And this is where you could pass around jars of spices or teas. And then the winner would obviously get bragging rights. And you're just kind of blindfolded and you're trying to guess what it is. And you can have everybody guess 2 or 3. That's always a little fun thing. Y'all should have a Galentine's Day tea party. Do you mean online or in person? Because that's the thing. I'd love to have a tea party, but I don't think everybody wants to trek to my house every Sunday. So I'm always like, because we do live out there a little bit, just a little bit. But I'm open for online things like that. We do have people that live out of state, halfway across the country. So, but I love that idea, Dominique. Okay. Another one would be at the tea party is build your own tea love potion station. So basically, this one allows guests to blend tiny samples into customized Valentine minis. So you would have strawberries, you could have some beet crackers, you could have some raspberry jam, some ruby chocolate, you could put dark chocolate. The idea is when I'm creating, what are you going to put with your scones, or what are you going to put up here? And they kind of get to mix and match in the flavors with their tea or their foods and different things like that. It's just a kind of red and pink snack board type of thing that you would do to add in the different flavors. Galentine's tea party, babe, if you would like to have If you would like to have one of those, you feel free to invite your friends over for one. I can set it up if you host it. Okay. Now, if you don't want to do the aroma or anything like that, you can always do some more traditional tea party things. But these were just some fun Valentine-y ones. I love the first one with the little love notes. I love sharing those kind of fun things, because we might have different teas and you might have had something else there. One of my other favorite things about tea parties is when everybody brings their own teacup. First, it makes it a little easier on the host because they don't have to feel like they have a matching set, although hopefully you do not need to have a matching set, okay? But also, I love to see the cups. Now, I won't tell anybody who unless she wants to out herself, but I saw an amazing Polish pottery Valentine cup that I know a friend bought. And I was like, that is so cool. I love having that. And that would be really fun for her to bring to a tea party and then kind of talk about it. Or to be able to bring one. Like I have one. I have a couple of teacups that were my great grandmother's or my great great grandmother's. And I might not drink out of that one, but I might bring it because of the story behind it. Or someone very precious gave it to me and I can kind of talk about like where it's from, things like that. I love the stories behind the teacups as much as the teas and everything else. And that is just another little fun thing to do for that. Let's see. Amy says she loves the note cards for getting to know people. Ooh, bring your favorite teacup sounds fun. Yeah, these are just little things. Again, it's easier on the host because they don't have to have as many teacups. Maybe they only have 4 or 5 and they have 6 or 7 people coming. It just makes it a little more fun. It's unique. You get to tell a story. You get to see different things and share. So, let's see. You need a host. I don't mind hosting tea parties. It's just a matter of like where and when, and I'm bad about getting invitations out in time. That's my bigger problem. So, okay, I do want to say that we talked about Earl's Blend. Earl's Blend is a year-round, but one of the things I did want to remind everybody is we do have what we consider our Valentine's tea, which is Winter's Kiss and Starlight Pear, and they are only available January, February, and March. And we're already in February, folk. Can you believe we're already in February? February 1st today. Diane's like, love Polish pottery. Yes. It's a beautiful cup that she got at an outlet a couple of hours away. Just a gorgeous Valentine heart cup in pink and just really, really sweet. So I'm with you though, Polish pottery. It's probably a good thing I haven't had chance to go to any of the outlets lately. Money might have fallen out of my pocketbook on that one. I'm pretty sure the money would have fallen out of my pocketbook, even if Rich was trying to catch it. But I do want to remind everybody that Earl's Blend is year-round, but that we do have our Valentine tea. Remember that one? Our Winter's Kiss is a green tea with freeze-dried strawberries. It has cinnamon and it has rose petals. The rose petals add that honey note to it. That is kind of typically our take on a Valentine tea. We also have a Valentine sampler that's on our website and some other things like that. If you wanted to order one of those, in order to get it by Valentine's Day, you would need to order by February 9th. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that it'll be there by Valentine's Day, especially when we have all the storms that keep coming through and messing up the mail. I don't know that Amazon's ever going to go back to 2-day delivery for Prime for me sometimes, because I'll try and order something. It's like, I'll order it on a Monday morning. It's like, hey, maybe Friday or Saturday, but it might be a week from now or 2 weeks. And that's even with the Prime. So let's see. Stephanie, that's how it happens. Yeah, that's how it happens. You walk in and the money falls out of your pocketbook. But I do want to tell everybody to make sure that there's enough time. I would say if you want the Valentine sampler or anything for Valentine's or in time for a Valentine's Day gift, tell your anybody that might be buying a gift for you, they need to order by February 9th. I always just want that up. It's okay if your sister picks on you, honey. Okay, and now I need to try and do, so the internet was not kind to me. It did an update on my laptop right before we went on here, and I have to get back to my spinny wheel. Because we have a couple of winners. We have our semifinal winner, and then we have our final winner. Now, a semifinal winner is not going to just get an ounce of tea, which is what our two quarterfinal winners got. They get an ounce of tea in a deluxe tin, and they will be getting a tin of Highland Dawn. And I just have to find where our problem is when you do stuff. It's hard to find things again. I'm trying to go through. Okay. All right, and I'm trying to find my spinny wheel. If not, I'll have to go to the backup that we have. There it is. It should be. Yes. Who's excited that I found it? All right, I'm excited that I found it. Okay. Let me get back to StreamYard, and I'm going to share screen. I love it. I love it. Okay. Showdown. All right. Here we are. So first we're going to pick for our semifinal. We're going to click it. I don't know if you can hear that. We don't need to see all those entries. Lots of entries. And Kristen S. Oh, Kristen S. just bumped Diane out just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to remove her. If you'll make a note, please, that Kristen S. won the deluxe tin of Highland Dawn. Yep. And then, all right, who is ready? Because it is time for our final showdown winner. Now, they will actually be getting more than just a tin of deluxe tin. We've got a little Valentine basket that we have put together with some couple of teas in it and some other little treats. So I think we figured out the value on this one is about $25 to $30. So somewhere in there. All right, everybody ready? Let's do this. One more spin. I hope you all have had as much fun with the showdown as I have. It has been really interesting. Well, there you go. Miss Diane is getting our Valentine showdown gift basket. So congratulations to Diane. And I'm going to stop sharing that right now. Congratulations, Diane. You won the big prize. I hope you all had fun with that. I think we will do that again for Hot Tea Month next January. It was a lot of fun for us to watch and then get so close. Like I said earlier, we are at 4 social medias, and we were on the final one. We had to go to the second day because we were literally exactly tied on all of them. Fortunately, we hadn't had that problem earlier. We came close a couple of times, but we just would make, by the time we went to the 4th social media, we just made one vote over. But there we are. Congratulations to Diane and Kristen with our winners. I am glad you enjoyed it. It was really fun. And it was kind of fun for me coming up with different ways, you know, for one tea to win over another one. Now, I will tell you that we will mix it up a little bit next year because it won't be the same tea blends matched up against each other. In fact, let me kind of pull that. I think I have a final one, but let me see. I will make sure that different teas pair off so that we get a really good idea. I do have to say, please put in the comments if you're surprised that no chai blends made it to the semifinals. I have to say, I was completely shocked. Let's see. No. So I was completely shocked. Go ahead and put in the chat or the comments, depending on how you're with us today. There we are. If you too are surprised that no chai has made it down, I was completely shocked. I figured I figured Onyx or Ruby was going to be there, but no, it was Highland versus Serene, which was really interesting to me. Okay, and then I do want to share, or I can share. Stephanie is surprised. Yeah, I was just shocked. I know Stephanie kept wanting to vote for Onyx Chai, even when we were, it wasn't in the race anymore. And she was like, that's like my favorite. So she was having a hard time. And then poor Diane kept having to flip a coin. Kim was what? A little maybe surprised. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so let's go here. Okay. Let's see if I can get that. Okay. No, I don't want to edit. I just want to. You ever like computers just not cooperating? Okay. I don't want that. Now, let me see if I can show you how it actually looks. There we go. If I can show you how it actually looks, it was really interesting. We can look at this. So, did it come up? There it is. So this is how it looks like at the end. I know I showed this to you. This is where we took 16 different teas and how they each progressed. I was very surprised. I was very interested in who was voting for what on the last one. Now, I was not always correct. I was correct most of the time, but there was a couple, like when the chais got knocked out, I was very surprised. But I was really interested in this last one because I had no idea if it was going to be Highland or Serene right to the end. And Kevin did not. He actually he gave up his special prize to help put Highland on over the top and make his wife happy. So he did not get the special prize because in the end, he voted for Highland on in the finals. So so I get that. Yeah, Diane, I really thought Onyx or Ruby would be in the finals or up there in the semifinals at least. And yes, so many times she went, and it was not the one that that she was voting against what Kim was hoping for. He didn't win though, because he picked Highland on. He picked the winner in the end. He was a deciding winner. He was one of the reasons why Highland on won. So he lost at the last round. He won by losing. He lost by winning at the last round. I don't know, but he picked the winner, so he didn't continue his streak. But anyway, anybody else have any other questions about a Valentine's Day tea or Earl's blend or anything like that? I know we've talked about a lot of different things. I will say that next week I will be announcing when we're going to do our live sale. I've got a couple of special teas, including a blueberry and black tea that we will have. It will be an event only tea, like so many of them are, although I am getting pressure from the local state university to where we do some events to potentially have a purplish tea, which would probably mean using blackberries and blueberries in it. So might be a trial run of that. And let's see, he won in your book, and that is all that matters, Kim. He helped Highland on win. So making his wife happy versus winning a prize. He totally won. Yes, I agree. He gave up his potential prize to make his wife's blend win. That's all that matters in the end. So giving you all a chance to put any other questions or comments in there. If not, we will be back next Sunday at 6 p.m. I do want to put something on everybody's calendar though. March 1st, I will not be able to meet everybody at the regular time. So I will be putting a survey up if you want me to try and make it earlier in the day, or if you want to try and just do a different, or I can go later, or just do our live on a different day that week. I will be putting up a vote sometime in the next couple of days. I am on a task force for something, and I will be facilitating a training at that point on that particular one. And it was the only time that this group of people could meet. So I will not be here for a live on March 1st, a month from today. So I wanted to get your impact in your opinions on how we should handle that. Blackberry and blueberry tea. See, Dominique's all about that one. So, all right, I will announce more of that later. I don't see anything else coming in. So I will say thanks for joining me. I hope everybody has a great week. Start thinking about your Valentine's Day teas and Galentine's Day teas now. It can be really simple. None of this took a lot to assemble if you think about it. Enjoy, and don't forget, if you want something in by Valentine's Day, have it ordered by February 9th. With that, I'm going to say have a great week, everybody. Stay warm.